guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to a game of Fangs and Thrones. Now today's video, you can't see it but I have a pile of books here, and this is my book series to finish / start in 2021. So these are my priority books. I do have other series and whatnot that I want to start, but these ones have been on my shelves for a while, either half finished or not started. So I thought I'd better pop on here, make this video just to hold myself accountable and hopefully get to move on with these books. So there's no particular order to them, just how I've popped them on my shelves, popped them on the pile from the shelves, and I have a note, have my list as well, which tells me where I am up to. So I'm just going to jump right in. So first off, we have Nevernight. Now this is I'm not going to talk too much about all of them because there is a lot of them here and I'm sure you all know about these books. But we have Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I have not started this at all, so I have all 3 books and I have them waiting to go, and I'm just going to change the camera angle so I can put my camera on charge. There we go. Slightly different camera angle while the camera charges, but yeah. This is my bed, so don't worry about that. So we have Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I haven't started the series, but I know that this one is grimdark, young adult, following the story of Mia Corvée, who loses her parents at a young age and then seeks revenge by going to the Red Church, becoming an assassin. And there's a talking cat. There's Mr. Kindly, who is a talking cat. Yep, that's the first one. We have The City of Brass, which is the first book in the Daevabad trilogy. This one I haven't started either, and I know that all 3 of them are out. I'm waiting for book 3 to be released in paperback, because I have book 1 and 2 in paperback. But this follows Mary, who is a con woman in Cairo, who has a little bit of magic. She uses healing magic. She uses it to con people, but she seems to release a djinn and is transported to Daevabad, I think. We have a series I have actually started, and this is The Mirror Visitor, book 1, which is A Windless Promise by Christelle Dabo. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I did read it in April, so I'll give my full thoughts in my April wrap up. But this follows the story of Ophelia, who lives in an ark, a floating city, following the world being destroyed, called Anima. She can tell the history of an object and can travel through mirrors, both of which are very sought after gifts, and she is promised in marriage to Thorn, who lives on a different ark in the Pole. So it's perfect for a winter read, yet I read it in the middle of summer, but what can you do? But yeah, this is a really fun, interesting book, and it is translated from French as well, so if you need to broaden your reading horizons. I believe there is 3 books out, but obviously they are waiting. I'm not sure if it is a trilogy or more, because obviously I've only read the first book and I've only seen 3 in translation. And then we have The Fellowship of the Ring. Well, The Lord of the Rings is a trilogy. I have read the first 2. I have a review sort of wrap up on the first 2, I believe, and the last book, The Return of the King, is on my April TBR, so hopefully this one will be completed fairly soon. But this is obviously The Lord of the Rings. Frodo and his friends the Hobbits Frodo is entrusted with the One Ring to destroy it in Mordor, and this is the story of how he does that, as well as a few other things like Gandalf and Boromir, Faramir, Gollum, and of course Aragorn. So we have So a collection of Stephen Fry's books. Now I am counting these as a series because they do follow the same sort of idea, and that is his Greek myths books. We have Mythos, Heroes, and the new one Troy. I have read Mythos and Heroes, which are obviously his take on the Greek myths, and Troy is Stephen Fry's take on the Battle of Troy. And like I say, I've read Heroes and Mythos, so just one more to go. And I don't know when I'm going to pick up with that one because I have to be in the right mood to read non-fiction Greek retelling sort of thing. But yeah. Then we have his Dark Materials. Well, in fairness, I have read the original trilogy, which was The Northern Lights / Golden Compass, The Amber Spyglass, and The Subtle Knife, and I think I butchered that order. But I've read those three, and I've read the first one of his new series, The Book of Dust, which was the Belle Sauvage. The next one is The Secret Commonwealth, and that's the one I haven't read, so I'm just counting them as all one interlinking world, because obviously it is. In The Golden Compass, which is where I would recommend you start, we follow Lyra, who is an orphan in the streets who lives in Jordan College, in a world much like ours, but the major difference is there is magic in this world, and that magic takes the form of demons, which are animals soul-like companions, and people want to know why kids' demons can shift as they grow, and adults' demons settle into one form. Excuse me. Definitely read the book rather than watch the movie with Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman. But the BBC One adaptation, if you can find it, was good. So yep, we have that one. We have Red Rising, now another booktube favourite of everybody that is well beloved. With this one, I have read the first 3 and just need to read the last 2. But with this one, we follow Darrow, who is who is in the caste system of Red, because his blood is red, in Mars. Now the Red is the lowest of the low. They've been mining Mars for years, trying to terraform it, ready for other people to populate it, not knowing that that is a lie. So obviously it is a rebellion story, and it's quite heartbreaking what happens in the first couple of chapters. It's a bit like Hunger Games in space, I would say, just better. Then we have Wicked by Gregory Maguire. This is the book that the Broadway play was based on, and it is a prequel story for the Wicked Witch of the West. I've read this a couple of times, but still have the rest of the series to go. So it's like Son of a Witch, which is a brilliant title, Out of Oz, and A Lion Amongst Men, and again I think I butchered that order, but I have the last 3 to read. And I think the second one follows a character in this book who is really connected to Elphaba the Witch. Then we have, it's not really a series because you can read them in any order, so I'd say it's a companion novel set, and that is the Goddess Summoning novels by PC Cast. I have read Goddess of Spring, which is a Persephone and Hades retelling, and Goddess of the Rose, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Now these are paranormal adult romances, very, I'd say, new adult rather than YA or even adult. But yeah, we have those. Like I say, I've read 2, and I think there is 5 that I own. I don't know if I think there might be 7 altogether, so I need to double check that one before I mark that as completed. But I have 5, read 2, 3 to go, and I think there are 7 altogether. Yep, I do like PC Cast. Like I bet when she's writing on her own, rather than the House of Night books. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but there we go. Then we have Bridget Camera's book, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, or the Cursebreaker series. I have the first 2 in the gorgeous, shiny, holographic paperback. I'm just waiting for the 3rd one, and then I can finish this series off. well, no, that's a lie. I need to read the second book, which was a Heart So Fierce and Broken. I still need to read that one. But these are, again, it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. But what makes this one interesting, in my opinion, is that the Belle character is Harper, and she's transported from our world into this fairy tale world, and she has a cerebral palsy as well, which means that she has an extra I don't want to say difficulty, but she has extra challenges that she needs to overcome, and her brother isn't as supportive as he could be when she disappears and comes back. So yep, hoping to finish this one soon as well. Then we have another one that you are going to tell you what, we'll leave this one, and another one till the end so you can shout at me later. But we have, and possibly that one, and we have A Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. Now this is a duology companion series, the second one being Dokubai, and I think I said that right, of Vicious Spirits. But this one is a North Korean urban fantasy set in Seoul, and it follows a Gumiho, who is a nine-tailed fox who must eat the souls of men to survive. Now Myung doesn't want to do that. She feels conflicted because she is half human, so she compromises by eating the souls of bad men, but her fox breed gets stolen, and the story goes from there. Obviously the sequel, like I say, it is a companion, so it follows the two characters that we meet in this book, and it's their story, so I'd be interested to see what happens with that one, and then I can mark that as complete. Then we have Dreadnation by Justina Ireland. Now this one I am on the fence about because it's zombies and I'm not a zombie fan, but we have Dreadnation and Deathless Divide, but I think it is important to read this one as it is historically, it does touch on historical aspects in the sense that it is set after the Civil War and slavery has been abandoned, but there is still that class divide. Our people of colour and our protagonist are trained as zombie hunters to protect the rich white people. Now I think a couple of years ago Justina Ireland said some questionable things, but I have a habit of just not associating books with authors, so should I give this one a try or not? Because I do have the both of them, and I am really interested in it, because even though it's not my normal cup of tea, I am trying to branch out. And Sean will be happy about that one, because he's been trying to get me to watch The Walking Dead for a while. Then we have A Game of Thrones. Now with this one, I am aware that we are still waiting on Winds of Winter, and I do just want to be caught up. I have read the main core books, Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, Dance with Dragons, Feast for Crows, I think that's it. And I have read The Ice Dragon. I actually got that, I think that's one of the books I've wrapped up, but I have Blood and Gold, is it Blood and Gold? Fire and Blood and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms to read, like the two little, well, I say little, two spin-off books of the main world as well, so I am counting them in the list just because I want to be caught up in case there's anything that's mentioned in Winds of Winter that is referenced or happens in those two side books. So yeah, that'll take a while. We have The Merciful Crow. This is the fairy loot cover, which is why it looks a bit different, but the sequel is The Faithless Hawk, and I do think it is just a duology, so it shouldn't take too long to finish that. But this is a caste system based on birds and magic. Our main character, Fi, is a crow, which means she has the ability to use teeth magic and is paid in teeth for the job of disposing of bodies. Her father, the clan leader, takes on the job of disposing of the Crown Prince's body, and it turns out the Crown Prince is not dead. So obviously this is what happens in that book, and the Faithless Hawk, Merciful Crow, Faithless Hawk Faithless Hawk picks up on where this one ends up. We are nearly at the end, I promise. I just want to get these done. We have The Poison Study, or The Chronicles of Ixia, by Maria V. Schneider. This is an older book that recently had a new trilogy attached to it, which was Dawn Study, Night Study, and Shadow Study. Yeah, got it right, just in the wrong order. But this follows Yelena in the original trilogy. Yelena is sentenced to death, which she escapes death by agreeing to be the Lord Commander's food taster, and she is poisoned, and only her boss has the antidote, and she needs to keep coming back to him to get that antidote or she will die. And obviously romance ensues from there. So I'd be interested to see what happens next, because it would definitely be a what happens next. These characters have all grown up and matured kind of story, and I am interested to go back into the world. And I have read the first 6. I just have the new books to read. We have Aronovich's book Rivers of London, series of Rivers of London. These are paranormal mysteries set in London, following the story of PC Peter Grant. I have read the first 2. I've read Rivers of London and Moon over Soho, and I believe I have 6, but I do believe there are more than that, and I am missing book 5, I think. So I'm going to have to double check that one as well before I continue, because I do think you have to. It's not a binge read series, but I do think you have to know the preceding cases and the preceding books before you can dive in, which is why it's taken me so long to read them, because I actually bought Foxglove Summer, which was like book 5 or something first. So then I had to find the first book and go from there. Then we have another old favourite, which was Labyrinth by Kate Moss. I think this was the first adult book I ever read, and it is the story of it's a Holy Grail story, split over 2 timelines. And then we have the sequel, Sepulchre, and the finale is Citadel somewhere. I have the second book on my TBR for this month, and Citadel is down here. And Kate Moss is she's becoming a bit of an auto-buy author for me, so I do want to read her backlist as well. Should I put her new series? No, because that book has only just came out. So yeah, we have this trilogy, and these are all chunky monkey books. But I did enjoy Labyrinth. I think I held off on the sequel because I thought this was better as a standalone, and then reread it as an adult and thought, yeah, I'll finish the series, because I am a bit of a completionist unless I really dislike a book. Then we have Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Yes, I know, I am so behind. But yep, this is is it West African or just African inspired? But yeah, it is blood magic. I remember that when this first came out, it was really hyped, everybody was really enjoying it, but I haven't heard much from that. But magic is stolen from the realm, and Zeli, our main character, tries to get it back. And obviously in the sequel, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, whatever happens in this is picked up and continued in that. I haven't started this series at all. Now we have some booktube darlings that I am scared to mention, but we have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Moharan. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which is why it has the pretty Christmassy ball scene with our main characters. I have Blood and Honey, which is here. You probably both see it. I just haven't read that one yet, and I know Gods and Monsters is being released at the end of the year, so I would like to catch up with that series and have that done. But this follows our main character Lou, who is a witch in hiding from both the her coven who want to do horrible things, and the church who would kill her if they knew what she was. But she ends up being married to Reed, who is a darling, but is a witch hunter, and the events of what happens to him at the end of this book in my opinion, will give him a brilliant story arc to be explored and expanded upon in Blood and Honey, so I'm hoping that's what happens. I just need to get around to it. Then these next three are probably going to get me banned or cancelled before I've even started, but we'll just go through them. I have A Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is a really old, beloved favourite from the author of Crescent City and ACOTAR. I only have one book left to read, and it is Kingdom of Ash, and I think I've been putting that off because it was so hyped for so long and I don't want to be destroyed. So I've read all of them and just have the one book to read, but it is a bit of a chunker, but I do find Sarah J. Maas's writing quite easy to read. It's quite fast, and obviously it is the finale, so hopefully everything gets wrapped up quite nicely, even if I am expected to cry. Then we have The Cruel Prince. Now, with the gorgeous special edition, I think this was a Fairy Loot, either Fairy Loot or Illumicrate, with the exclusive dust jackets as well. I've read the first two, just have Queen of Nothing to read as well, but it's not a favourite series, but I do enjoy it. It's a bit, I think Jade from JD Rereads describes this the best. It's a bit of a junk food series. You know it's not very good for you, but you read it, and at the time it's great, but then you want more. So just have that one last book to read, but I do really like these exclusive covers. I think Rosie Thorns did them for the special edition box. And then the last book on this list, but that's not to say it's the last book, the last book in the video and the last book on the official list, but that's not to say that this list won't grow, and in another couple of months I'll be doing an updated video, is the Shadowhunters books. I'm just holding this one because it's the newest and it's the prettiest. Well, not the newest, but it's the start of the newest series, and it's really quite stunning. Love the way Cordelia's hair is done here. But I've read this one. I've read most of the books. I just have the Magnus and Alec spin-off books to read, which are right here, and the new Last Hours book, which is Chain of Iron, and I have that in a special edition as well. So I just have those to read. So that's the end of this video, and I've lost my remote. It'll turn up. There it is. Yeah, found it. So that's the end of this video, so let me know if you think I should prioritise any of these books more, or if you think I should just read them when I get to them, or if there's any books that you are prioritising. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!